The institutional powers have declared Joe Biden the winner.
That's so irresponsible.
They-
I don't want to overuse that word.
It's a game of King of the Hill.
This is crazy. Jake Tapper responded to Trump. Trump said something like, we're suing or whatever. Jake Tapper said Donald Trump's refusal to accept the loss, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, for Jake Tapper, this high-profile personality on CNN, to completely disregard the Constitution is just like one of the most dangerous things a media personality can do. Either the guy is really, really dumb, or it's malicious. So is Jake Tapper trying to purposefully undermine the Constitution and our system of governance? The idea that we have an election and then that night we know who won is just a tradition.
It's getting to the point where I don't care if he knows he's undermining the Constitution or not.
He is.
He's undermining the Constitution.
Right. At some point in our history, probably with the invention of TV or maybe even radio, we stopped saying the official results will be announced on the 14th. And we started saying, this is it. We know who won and so conceded. Well, that's fine. And I got no problem with that. But Donald Trump didn't concede. So the race isn't over. We don't know who's won. We don't know which slate of electors will be going to D.C. for their, formal election. It's not happened yet. So for the media to be saying all this stuff is completely spitting on the Constitution and saying we don't care about the process. It's a fact that Trump is supposed to be filing legal claims up until like the 8th of December. It's in the Constitution for this reason. These are safeguards to prevent, fraud or impropriety or whatever. So Trump's allowed to do it. And the media doesn't like it. They don't like the fact that he has the right to challenge it.
They're flexing. They want to see how far their influence can. I mean, even back when Obama, they had no reason to complain during the Obama years. During Bush, I remember I was.
He was blowing up kids, so they were happy,
Well, I mean, all right. So when we're about the same age, I think. When we were in high school, they were just making fun of Bush all the time. Then 9/11 happened, and they started the wars and all that stuff, and they kept criticizing Bush, calling him names, making fun of him. Fine. They were swinging their influence around just to say, like, hey, look, we're the mediators between the people and the governing bodies, whatever. So they'll believe whatever we say, whatever we tell them to believe. A journalist, let's say, is in a position where I'll listen to the journalist more than I'll listen to a politician. And Trump is the first time where the people are listening to the politician so closely, at least in our generation. They're listening, they're going directly to the source. There's no more middleman. So the middleman, CNN and all those people, are feeling themselves lose power. So they have to make it seem like this is an emergency. Guys, my connection to you is like, my psychic link to you is being weakened. You need my words of wisdom in your ear. Don't listen to that man who you have to fill. It's like that time when when Hillary's emails leaked, and then I can't remember who it was.
Was it Tapper or was it Shudo?
You can't read them. Yeah, it's illegal for you to read them.
Only we can read them.
Cuomo, I think maybe.
You have
Tapper,
to. It's
one
like,
of those guys.
bro. It's like in the old church, like way in the old days, the priests would be like, you can't read the Bible yourself. I have to interpret it for you. I'll tell you what the Bible says. So maybe he's fudging what the Bible really says. But then when the printing press was invented and now the commoners can read the Bible, it's like, wait, this is what the Bible says, bro?
I got to give you how much money?
Right.
The internet really is like the printing press all over again.
Right. And of course, the priest equivalents of today, let's say CNN, are now realizing, oh, shoot, the common person can go directly to the source of power without me filtering the words, filtering what I want reality to be. They feel themselves losing power, and the only way to get people's attention, again, is to create a crisis. You have to listen to what I have to say. It's so important. Don't listen to the other guy.
Well, to quote Chancellor Sutler, I want them to know why they need us.
Yeah.
Who's he?
From V for Vendetta.
Oh.
He's like, I want it on the interlink, every story, whatever.
You have to. It's like, I get up in the morning. What should I do today? What should I be worried about? I should tune into CNN and make sure it's safe to go outside. Even me coming here, I'm not going to say specifics, but it's like, I didn't even know what route to take. Because is this place COVID infested? Where's the safe direction to go? Am I
Did you
safe
ask
in my
CNN? Did you turn on CNN and say, "Oh, Anderson, please"?
I punched it into the Intertron.
Yes.
And then it's like,
Did you find the anscer?
I did, because this is such a remote location. Actually, a spirit guide
showed
me on an eagle. I followed
I
the
love
eagle.
our
A
spirit
face
guide,
in the moon appeared and looked down and said, "Turn left here."
Is Google Maps going to start putting COVID-friendly zones on
They
your...
do. They
Oh
already do.
my
So
God.
when
Really?
I was going, every time I go to the doctor, they're like, COVID-19 alert, COVID-19 alert. You have to have a mask.
Do you
going to the
guys
hospital.
is it like some of the roads are green when there's COVID in that
No,
area?
it's not
or
quite like
anything?
that.
This
Yeah.
area has the miasma. Don't go through
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, exactly. My asthma.
Did you guys see the Ticketmaster is saying that they're going to put your vaccination status on the ticket or whatever?
Oh, jeez. Goodbye, Ticketmaster.
Right,
Oh,
seriously.
No,
Well, all right, the nosebleed section will be the dirty people who
Right.
didn't take it.
Exactly.
they're not going to let you in.
No.
I think what's going to end up happening is, they made fun of anti-vaxxers for a long time. Now they're saying anti-maskers because it's meant to be like, like similar. And
Right.
so right now they're saying, dude, just wear the mask, man. It's not a big deal. And even I'm saying it. Like, I got no problem. Look, I go to the store, I'll wear a mask. It's whatever.
That's different from a
Then they're going to
vaccine.
start saying, dude, just get the vax, man. It's no big deal. And so they're going to make everyone get the vaccine. I mean, in some places they've already done it. So I'm not trying to like be conspiratorial, like, oh, the mandatory vaccination's coming. There have been, I think in Australia, you can't travel outside of the country unless you've been vaccinated, something like that.
Yeah.
In Denmark, they're protesting a law right now. They've been protesting for like 10 or 11 days. A law that includes a provision for mandatory vaccination and forced physical examinations. So probably a good thing to protest because that's freaky.
Well, here's
But I
another-
think it'll come here. I do.
What if it doesn't it mutate every year like the flu, let's say? So every year you have to get a new vaccination, or is
I
that
guess.
is that the plan?
I don't know.
They don't have a plan.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know
yet,
anything about
yeah.
this.
We
They have a
don't
great
know.
reset plan.
That's true.
Allegedly.
Take away all your stuff.
I mean, maybe a state will be like, you can't come in if you didn't get the vaccine, but that'd be like the governor made that decision, and then the people would riot on the governor.
I think we're going to see riots again. I think the riots we saw this year in June were a product, a bit of being locked up for so long.
Dude, there's so much data of recovery rates for COVID that people would go insane if they tried to do some forced stupidity.
Dude, look at, like, we were just talking about people cheering for Trunanana Shabbat Pressure.
The mindless
That
zealots.
maybe that was part. What if Trunanana Shabbat Pressure was actually in Joe Biden's like teleprompter, and it was them being like, okay, if they cheer for this, we can do anything. And so Biden is like, what people don't realize is Biden's actually sharp as a tack, right? He was actually able to read Trunanana Shabbat Pressure on the teleprompter as it moved
Like,
up.
give me something crazy to
That
say.
took me a long
Right.
time to transcribe to get it just right. Trunanana Shabbat Pressure. And so for him to be able to read it off real quick,
What was it again? True international
cooperation under
cooperation
pressure.
under
I don't know if
pressure.
that. I'm just.
I think
We
you were
have
right.
no idea.
True international
called it.
cooperation under pressure.
Yeah.
And what's Badacath care?
Healthcare? What was he
Badacath?
talking
No,
about?
I have no
Obamacare? Badacat?
I don't know,
Obamacare?
dude, but they cheered for it. Okay, that's the point. If you've got 77 million people or whatever in this country, and a large portion are such zealots that they'll cheer when Joe Biden says garbled nonsense.
They just want someone to beat Trump.
They're gonna be like, drink this substance from under
Maybe.
my basement
But
stairs,
they're
and
not-
you can come into my
The
restaurant.
Biden
Like, okay.
zealots aren't necessarily the COVID zealots.
They are.
Well, not necessarily.
Heavily-
There
heavy
might
overlap.
be some overlap, yeah.
Heavy
Quite a
overlap.
lot of overlap, yeah.
So we were talking to Michael Malice on the show, and it was on the show we mentioned, what is it? How do you determine left or right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it was before the show.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't
So,
remember.
but is that like?
It was on the show, yeah.
Yeah,
on
it
the
was.
show.
Okay.
He said.
I made a speech.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
You started. Yeah.
He said, how do you figure out if someone's on the left or right? You ask them, do you think some people are better than others? And the right will say yes, and the left will give you a speech.
I was like, define better.
Yeah.
I think
That's what I said too.
Yeah.
there's an easier way to do it. It's to ask someone, are they scared of COVID? And for the most part, the right's going to be like, no, I get it. It's, a lot of people will be like, a lot of the diehard guys are going to be like, no way, man. I don't have to wear a mask. I can do whatever I want. Then you're going to get the more moderate people who are going to say, look, I get it. It's like, it's got lingering health effects. It's serious.
Yeah, that's me.
I'll wear my mask, but I'm not going to go cry. I'm going to, carry on with my life. The left, you look at the Gallup polls from this, it's like something like 70% of Republicans are like, we're kind of concerned about this. And 5% of Democrats are like, we're kind of concerned. The rest of them are like, it's the end. Like 95% of Democrats are freaking out over this.
I respect and fear, to a point, dangerous pathogens and things. Completely, because they can ravage animals quickly. But there's so much evidence that COVID has a 99.4?
99.9.
99.9 now.
Yes.
It's even more
always
recovery
been
rate. So it's like people are getting it and
Unless you're
recovering.
over 70 or have a comorbidity, then it's 97.5.
And that's because of the comorbidity.
97.5.
And that's still great for someone with comorbidity that's old.
That's a high death rate, though. That's like, a couple percentage points
3%.
is serious.
It's
Serious
sad,
stuff.
Yeah,
but
it's
those
very
people
serious.
were already ill. A lot of those
Well,
people.
they're over 70
hence
and
the comorbidity.
Right. And they have comorbidities.
And when you see numbers like that, I'm just not concerned. I'm not even concerned.
So
You know what's weird? I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's a weird reversal because weren't conservatives considered the types to be like putting up fences, closing their doors, putting like turtles going into their shell, right? Protective. Whereas now we're seeing liberals saying, no, now we have to, or leftists, I should say, now we have to put our shells on and close up. And conservatives are saying, let's open up and
Check
be
this
free.
out. In Minnesota, in the Iron Range, 2 longtime leaders in the Democratic Party have quit. It's the Democratic Farmer Labor Party or whatever. That's what they call the Democratic Party up in Minnesota. They quit. And they said, because we want to make a more moderate, bipartisan, party or whatever in caucus. So the Republicans are like glad to hear it because the Democrats have gone nuts. In Minnesota, the Democrats gained areas that were typically Republican, affluent suburbs, and Trump gained in the working class areas and the
That's
union
so
areas.
weird.
It's a flip. The Democratic Party has become the party of the wealthy elites and the managerial elites and the moral authoritarians. And the Republican Party has become the party of, not completely, but the shift is happening.
Blue collar-ish.
Yeah, blue collar,
Yeah.
just regular working people.
That's weird because I'll go through neighborhoods around where I live and I see a lot of mansions with the Biden signs. And then
Yeah,
I
makes
see
sense.
a lot of like carpenter types of people, people who work with their hands. They love Trump.
right. Blue collar people. Yeah.
We're living in backwards land.
It's
I don't-
flipped.
I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on with 2020.
And you look at like the ultra woke people. That's typically like a wealthy. They're typically upper class, progressive.
they have a lot
upper
to
middle
lose. If the rioters come down their street, they have a
That's
lot to
true.
lose, eh?
Oh, interesting.
I think the flip is coming. It's getting crazier and crazier, and maybe that's all that needs to happen. And there's not going to be some like chaotic civil war or something.
So
But my bigger fear is Trump. If we get to a point where there is some kind of court certification for Trump, giving him a legal justification to say he won, and then Biden refuses to admit defeat, and I think it's very likely. Hillary Clinton said Joe Biden should not concede under any circumstances. Now, to be real, like realistic, Trump is the one who is projected to lose right now. I'm not trying to do this stupid, but Hillary can still win. No, but Trump is still suing, and there's still these like really narrow paths where he might actually figure something out. And if he does, Joe Biden's not going to back down.
I'm worried about where, if this is a silly chess game, let's say, there's only so many ways that could go. If things turn violent, you get the military involved, that creates bad optics, which creates more anti-authoritarian sentiment, which creates more violence.
Right, exactly.
There's no good outcome for that. If I was the type of person who says that's what I want, chaotic situations where they're begging for the government, the right is going to be begging for the government to intercede, which looks bad and is bad because you're going to see people getting their heads caved in by like police officers who are angry or National Guard or something like that. On the other hand, if you just let the rioters go crazy like they have been, who knows what kind of damage is going to be done. People are going to be scared to go outside. We're sort of backing ourselves because the temperature is so high. We're all backing ourselves into these bad corners where there's really no way out except either bad optics, people getting their heads caved in, violence. I wish this could be solved on a legislative level on let's use our words, but everybody seems to be so scared of the other side, and in some cases for good reason. I don't want to talk to somebody who's coming at me with like a shield and a thing in their hand like, bro, put it down.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.